Hello students, this is a small video I'm making for you in which I would like to explain to you how do you construct a survey questionnaire. All the items on the survey questionnaire are referred to as items, okay? We don't call them as questions or statements, we refer to them as items. So let's take, for example, let's assume that your topic for your survey is study skills. All right. And your item looks something like this. All right. And let's take a look at another item which looks like this. Oops, it's too big. Okay. All right. What difference do you notice in the first and the second item? Can you guess? Maybe you did guess. Yes. In the first item, you notice that it's in the question form, right? And how do we know it's a question form? Because it starts with do you. It starts with do you as well. It has a question mark. All right. So these kind of statements are very good, or rather these kind of items are used for a yes and no scale. All right. So this will be called a 2-point scale because you have only two response options, yes and no. Take a look at the second item over here. And what do you notice in this? It's different from the first one because it's not a question. It starts with I. So it means it's giving a personal response. So it starts with I and plus it has a full stop. Right? So these kind of items are used in a 3-point scale, and in which we have the three options as always, sometimes, and never. Okay, so this is the difference that we have in both these kind of statements. Let me give you another example. For example, now, do you see this again? Do you make weekly study plans? So again, we have a question form here and we have a question mark. So what do you think will be the response for do you make weekly study plans? Yes, you're going to make, the response is going to be in the yes or no form, right? It's going to be yes or no. All right. Take a look at the next one. So if we have to word, okay, let's put it as 1 and let's put it as 2. So for the same item, how would you put it in a 3-point scale? Do you make weekly study plans? How will you make it? I make weekly study plans, right? So for this, your options are going to be always, sometimes, never. Okay, let me give you one more example of this. Okay. Do you review material before class? So do you review the material before class? So again, it's a question, do you? So you have do you plus you have the question mark, right? And the response, of course, is going to be yes and no for this also. right? Let's come to the second. That is a 3-point scale. In the 3-point scale, how would we put the third item? I review materials or material before class, right? And so your answers can be always, sometimes, never. So I hope you understand how to construct the survey items. Okay, let me give you another example. Let's say your topic is collaborative learning. All right. Okay. So your first item, let's say for 2-point scale, which means yes and no, it will be something like okay, do you like working in groups? And the answer will be in 2-point scale, which means yes and no. Why yes and no? Because we have a question here, which means we are using do you and we are using a question mark. All right. Now, if I have to put it in a 3-point scale, how would I do that? I would put it as I like working in groups. Okay, and so my response is going to be one of the 3 options: always, sometimes, never. Why? It's going to be this item is suitable for 3-point scale and not yes and no, because it's not a question. So we have I over here and we have the full stop. Okay, I'll give you another example of this. Example number 2. Does group work motivate you? So your answer can be yes or no. And why yes or no? Again, we have the question. So does group work motivate you? It's a question. All right. And again, if I had to put this in 3-point scale, how would I word it differently? Yes, you can just say group work motivates me. How often does it motivate me? So you're going to write always, sometimes, always, sometimes, or never. Right? So there is no question here. So therefore, it's very good. This item is good for 3-point scale. I'll give you one more example of this. Do you think? Okay. Do you think group work increases your critical thinking? So again, the answer can be yes or no. Did you get it? So you have do you and you have the question mark. So if I had to put the same item in the 3-point scale, how would I put it? I would just say group work increases my critical thinking, right? And I will just have the same response as always, sometimes, and never. Okay, so I hope you understand by this small video how do you construct items on a research scale. So make items like this, whatever your topic is, whether your topic is any of the methods of best practice that we have done, or whether your topic is your own topic for group discussion or presentation, or maybe you want to choose something other than that, maybe on health, entertainment, or teaching practice. Whatever your topic is, try to come to me after having constructed 10 items like this on a scale. Choose a scale. Do you want a 2-point scale or you want a 3-point scale? A 2-point scale will have an option of yes and no. A 3-point scale will have an option of always, sometimes, never. Okay? Yes, and remember 8 items will be on the 2-point or 3-point scale, and the last 2 items, 9 and 10, should be open-ended questions in which you invite the respondent to write something so that you can, collect all the responses and summarize and get the key points on what they had to say on the open-ended questions. So I hope you understood this construction of the research tools. Well, thank you so much. And any questions you have, feel free to put them on the Moodle. Feel free to ask me in class or see me in the office hour. Thank you. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.